I got an email from somebody, one of the FMK supporters, and she asked some really good questions for video topics. I plan to break up the videos into different topics so the video doesn't get too long. But one of her first questions, just gonna read it out. All athletes have a physical peak. Gymnasts peak early at 16. Other sports might have later peaks. But how do age and experience work for martial artists? See that martial artists is not a sport, and that's one thing that has to be clearly understood. Martial arts is not a sport. Martial art is an art. So your peak is your death. That's your peak. Your death is your ultimate peak, because that's going to be your final expression, and that's going to be that's basically your life. I mean, your peak is the end of your life. I mean, sport is revolved around competition. To me, martial art is not competition. Martial art is just your expression, your creativity. Martial art is more similar to a singer or a dancer, or a musician, rather than, or even a writer, or an artist, a painter like Picasso or Vincent van Gogh. Martial art is more likened to that than it is competitive sports. Talking about competitive sports, there's a peak, because the physical can only, the physical will only be at a certain level for so long. Everybody's gonna age and the physical is gonna diminish. But martial art, because it's not a sport, there is no peak as like how sports are. Basically, as a martial artist, you're supposed to be at your potential every year that you age because of your training. So you are basically essentially, for your age, for your gender, you are at a high level consistently through your training. So in martial arts, there's not supposed to be a comparison to the past of where you used to be. There's only this moment right now and where you are right now. And it's just that constant training to better yourself and to maintain and to be healthy. So to train yourself to be free from injuries and illnesses, to be healthy, like body, mind, and spirit. With experience, with age comes experience. With more experiences will grow greater wisdom. So your wisdom will automatically should grow as you age through time. So martial artist is, the older the martial artist gets, the more wisdom, the more experience. And also, the more experience, the more the age, the intelligence shall grow. As far as the understanding of the science behind combat. So you look at the scientists, great scientists aren't young people, typically. Albert Einstein was an old guy, and he was one of the greatest scientists to ever live. Scientists, people that study science, it's mental. It's with age, you get better, a deeper understanding. So the mental is more like, more time allows you to read more books, for example, or allows you to more time to come upon discoveries. So with age, your experience will grow you mentally, it will grow you spiritually. As far as physical is concerned, you're just essentially training to be at your physical best day after day with no attachment to the past. It's just where you are right now. So, and it's not supposed to be in comparison to other people. It's not supposed to be even in comparison to yourself in the past. It's just training to be at your peak or at your highest level of efficiency right now. So it's essentially just to be strong, fit, healthy, fast, and capable right now. So there's no attachment to the past. So it's just a lifelong journey. So it's looking at your life as a whole, not just a segment of it. Where athletes, they're only seen to be of value from a certain age, from maybe the age of 20 until 35, and that's it. The rest of their life is just, it's like a waste. That's how their lives are treated. But in martial arts, his entire life is significant. From birth all the way to death, his entire life is very significant. And you want to see a martial artist continually grow, because then more beauty will come out. Just like if Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did not get assassinated, and Malcolm X did not become assassinated, and Tupac Shakur were not assassinated, the beauty that they could have potentially grown to become is significant, but it was taken away early through assassination. Same thing with Bruce Lee. If he didn't die early, there was so much more beauty through that, sharing his life experiences that could have helped this world to a greater extent. And that's what a martial artist is like. It's like you want them to live longer so you could see and experience more beauty that's coming from that individual. It's like a painter who just keeps painting for 100 years, and then it's just beauty that's just constantly being expressed. Or a singer that just keeps coming out with albums that's beautiful, and he just keeps coming out with all his creativity for 100 years, opposed to just 5 years or 10 years. No, it's 100 years. So art is like a director, like that makes great film. You want them to keep living, so then they keep creating something great. There's no end to it other than his own death. So once they die, then the art stops. The new art stops. Then you're just stuck with just the past and the old and the tradition. But a martial artist that's living now is constantly expressing the truth day after day, and the peak is in his death. So that's my view on it. As far as your comment on Taekwondo not being suited for older people, it's not necessarily true. I just feel that age is not the factor. It's the physical fitness that's the factor. Because there's people out there that are 20 years old that are just really out of shape, and they're not fit for Taekwondo because of the dynamic movements of Taekwondo. Or a person who just injured their knee. They're not fit for Taekwondo because their knee's injured. Even though they're young and healthy otherwise, but then their knee's messed up, so they're not fit for Taekwondo. An older person like my father doesn't have any knee problems. He keeps running on all these marathons. He's 63 years old, doing all these marathons, doing all his biking. He's jumping around doing the Taekwondo, doing the best that he can with it. The only thing that he lacks is body coordination. But other than that, he could perform a lot of the Taekwondo kicks a lot better than the young people. So it's not about age, it's about your physical fitness. And that's why it's very important for a martial artist to be at his peak physical fitness level for his age, day after day. Like for an 80-year-old person could essentially be very proficient with Taekwondo techniques if he maintains his health and wellness. But if he lets his body deteriorate, then yeah, he's not going to be fit for Taekwondo techniques. Taekwondo techniques, or let's not even call it Taekwondo techniques. Let's not call it that. Let's just call them kicking techniques. Because Taekwondo techniques, what the Koreans don't own our ability to kick. They don't own that. And the people in Thailand don't own the roundhouse kick. It's just a bunch of nonsense. You know, the people that practice so-called Wing Chun don't own the close quarter combat range. So let's just call them kicking techniques. You know, is kicking and jumping, is it good for old people? Well, it depends on your physical level of physical fitness and how much damage you put your body through. You know, Michael Jordan, you know, I think he's in his 50s now maybe, you know, constantly, you know, putting his knees through so much abuse through all those hard years of training has made him now almost very, his physical body is deteriorated. So now, since he's now that he's older, he can't do what he used to do in the past because he basically just wore down his body too fast without allowing it time to heal. He just basically pushed himself too far, and then now he's can't really do as much. Same thing with Muhammad Ali, you know, pushed himself too far, and then now when he gets older, he can't do anything now. So basically that's what happens when you're young and you push yourself too far. You push your body too far. When you get older, you're gonna pay the price. You're not gonna be able to move as well anymore, or you just might not even be living anymore. So basically, it's about taking care of your body and not pushing yourself too hard. You push yourself too hard, then you're gonna get hurt. You know, and you're gonna decrease, you know, your future enjoyment of life because of the decisions you made when you're younger. So it's not about age, it's more about your physical fitness level. If you take care of your body until you're 90, I'm sure you can still do a lot of kicking techniques. You know, my father is one of the main examples that I use. You know, he's 63, over 30 years older than me, and he's doing just fine with the calisthenics and the weightlifting and the stretching and the combat training. And we'll see how he does as he ages even more, and we'll see how I do. You know, and we'll be living proof to indicate that the martial arts training, including the kicking techniques training, does not need to stop when you get older. You just need to know the limitations of your body and to not push yourself too far in which to cause injury. So that's the first part of the question. And I'm going to stop the video here, and then we'll go on to question number 2.